Hi, it's Megan. So I have been a huge fan of the Viseart eyeshadow palettes, eyeshadows, and I wasn't going to get Ribbons Boheme, and then I did. So this is a new limited edition palette. It comes in the regular Viseart packaging, and of course it's on my eyes. There were just a couple shades that I knew I wanted to use like immediately, but I've actually played with all of them, but the ones I was just in love with and just worked with my eyes are the ones that are on my eyes. But yesterday I was wearing totally different ones. So I'm going to go through all of them and tell you what I think of each and every one. So this is the palette, and it is $80. And right now, the only one who has it in stock is musebeauty.pro, although Sephora is supposed to be getting it. But what I'm hearing is that there are limited quantities of this. So if you want it, don't wait. And what is there to say about the brand and the eyeshadow? So there's made in France, French company, and it's meant to be kind of pro eyeshadow. So what you get that's good is you get amazing pigmentation, very finely milled. This is one of the few brands, and this is the same with this palette, where I don't have to use an eyeshadow primer. And they wear still a good 8+ hours beautifully, not creasing, not flaking, not leaving, you know, those little beautiful shimmery things all over your, or powder all over your face. And what always amazes me about the Viseart palettes is that I never thought about it until I started playing with these. They go where you put them. So you take your brush and you put it there, and you don't have to pack it on, you don't have to make an effort, you don't need a primer, you don't need a white base or a black base. You just put it there and it's there, and it looks flawless, which is really nice. It took me, like, I had to learn to reapply eyeshadow because I'm like, but that's not how eyeshadow normally works. So that's one of the exciting things about them. And they wear beautifully. I have dry skin, so I'm less prone to creasing than other people. And then the other thing that's really amazing about these is that, and maybe it's because it's targeted toward makeup pros, or maybe just better company. There's this whole like thing with eyeshadows where they look so pretty in the pan sometimes, but then it doesn't work on the eye. And that's not the case with certain brands, Viseart being one of them. There are another couple brands that I think do the same thing, where no matter how pretty it is on the pan, it's actually prettier on the eye. And that's how I feel about this palette and the eyeshadows in general. So what is different about this is that a lot of their eyeshadow palettes are mattes. This is closest to the Sultry Nudes, which is more sheen. It doesn't ever quite, it gets almost a little frosty, almost a little metallic at times, but I always think of kind of the metallic and frosty as being super cool toned and a little bit harsh on me, because I have a slightly warm undertone, and these never get to that. So they have kind of a sheen to them and an almost metallic, almost frosty feel, but they never get to that harsh, less wearable stage, which is good. So I think I said it's $80, and it is 0.84 ounce for the whole palette. And you get 12 shades. So let's get into the fun part, the different shades. So the first one is right here. And I'll tell you which ones I have on my eyes when I get to them, because there's no point in telling you ahead of time. This is a yellow. And this is just what I said was a rich yellow. And I can see little touches of bronze gold in it. These are all super, super, super pigmented. And the one thing, you know, I don't normally wear an eyeshadow primer with this brand's eyeshadows, but with these, because they are so colorful and so pigmented, if you want that color to really show and really last and really pop, it's not a bad idea to use an eyeshadow primer. I don't need it, and I tend to blend out. You can see I've got a blue in my crease, I've got a copper, and I've got a blue under my eyes. They're blended out because that's how I wear them, but if you really want them to pop and last, then build them up on top of something. You don't need it, but if you want the brightness, go for it. The next one is, I said, a yellow-green with a hint of shifting yellow-green. in it, or yellow gold. So most of these are just the straight color that you see. A couple of them, this one, ooh, not, you know, outside it didn't look like a duochrome, but inside it's like, maybe it is. This one is almost a duochrome. So a couple of them do shift in color. So it's not exactly, I don't think it's a chartreuse exactly, just because it's like a yellow base, green base kind of shifting back and forth, if that makes any sense at all. The next one is a soft cotton candy pink with a hint of strawberry, and I wore this one yesterday on my lid, and I mixed it with this shade right here, right under and into the crease. It was so pretty together. So pinks always scare me a little because I don't have a pink undertone. It's not that I don't like pinks, I love pinks. It's just that I don't have a pink undertone. But this actually was super wearable, and I wore it probably 10 hours yesterday, and it was still super pretty at the end. Look at how pretty that is. That's the problem I've had with this palette. I sit there and, oh, look at how pretty that is. It's such a pretty color. Pretty's been my word lately. I've been calling everything pretty, so if I say pretty 50 times in the video, it's just kind of my thing. The next one is this really beautiful coppery color, which I have on my lid. And look how even that is, and look at how evenly it applied on my lid. So, oh, I skipped the silver. We're gonna have to go back to the silver. So I said this was a rich, warm copper, and it's medium, and most of these are medium. And all of them have that kind of slight sheen that's not quite metallic, not quite frosty. So let's go back to the one I skipped, the silver. And this one, it's not too shimmery or too glittery. It's a classic silver with a slight blue undertone to it. Blue-gray undertone. It's not that kind of ghostly look that I really love, but it comes close. And this I just put I lined the inner corner of my eye. I like silvers for that. I like silvers lining my under eye. I like it on the inner eye. I really like doing black on the waterline and then lining the rest of the eye with silver. It makes my eyes totally pop. Green. This one I said a rich medium Kelly green with barely there yellow shift. And by the way, if you don't want to use just a lot of color, the Muse Beauty Pro founders had explained to me this sandwich method about 1.5 years ago, where you dip your brush into like a taupe or a gray and then into a color and then back into the taupe or the gray or a neutral, and then you get kind of a new undertone and a new dimension to your shadows, and it just makes them look less flat and dead and boring. So that's one way to do it. And then another way to do it is to really even it, blend it out so that it's just a light touch of color. And then the last way is just to use it like I did on the lower lash line, or mixed in with a darker liner. So this right here is just a peacock blue, which I'll show you in a minute, but you can also mix a color in with like a black or a gray or a taupe or a brown and just give it a little bit more life. So this one is a really gorgeous, bright, vivid strawberry pink. And most of these are medium, very pigmented, very creamy, very blendable, blend beautifully. So let's blend this one out because this one's kind of dark and my wrist is a little wet. But you can see you can really blend that out if you want to. So that it's, I wonder, I could probably use this as a blush looking at it. I mean, not a bright blush, obviously. So we're right there. Now we're gonna go to this sky blue. And this has a shift of kind of like a white silver blue in the sunlight. That's a really pretty one as a liner. That's how I've actually been wearing this. It's actually really pretty on the lid too, but I really like this kind of color as a liner. We have our biases. Okay, the next one is a Saman Copper. It looks in my swatch pictures outside very orange, but on it doesn't look to me at all orange. I don't think I've ever called something a Saman Copper before. Look at how beautiful that is. And what I've actually done with this one is I've done these two together with this one on the inner part of the lid and then this one on the outer. It's so pretty. And then the yellow is really good for the inner eye just to open it up. Pop. Okay, the next one is a peacock blue. There's no better way of describing it. And this one I have lining my lower. Right in here, just lining my lower lash almost all the way in, and the silver takes over. I love this kind of shade as a liner too. Should we say pretty again, or should we just like think we've said enough pretties? All right, so we've got 2 more colors. The one thing that's interesting about this palette is that there really isn't a purple. This is the purplest of the shades, and it's almost a purple. It's kind of orchid. I called it a raspberry pink fuchsia with purple shimmer that's barely there. I'm not sure it's a full purple. It's kind of a pinky purple. So I do find it curious that they didn't put a purple in there. And this one is one of the ones that shifts a little bit in the light. And the last one, and this is one that I put into my crease here, and then I've got a little black liner and a little white just up under my, I like mixing white and black with color, under my brow. This one, I called it a deep sky blue, robin's egg, whatever kind of shade. And I put that, like I said, into the crease. I love mixing these coppery, even that salmon copper with blues. For my blue eyes, it just totally makes them pop. So that was what I got most excited about. But like I said, I was doing that coppery salmon with the pink yesterday. Gorgeous. I've mixed a lot of these together. The greens are actually so beautiful, mixed in with browns, taupes, grays, just to kind of open up your eyes and make them pop. And the pinks I really love, again, with taupes or grays. Taupes and grays, I've learned, unless they're really well done, can make me look a little drab. And just putting a little extra color. Also, you take a brighter pink and line your lower lash, especially if you've got like a black gray liner or even brown, and all of a sudden my eyes just pop again. I wouldn't have thought that of pink, but that's how it works for me. Anyway, so the pros of this: amazing formula, super creamy, super finely milled, applies and wears beautifully. It goes exactly where you put it. It blends. Amazing formula. You do get a little bit of sheen shimmer, so it's not the mattes that you get with a lot of the other Viseart palettes. The colors are super pigmented. They're incredibly consistent. There's not a bad color in the whole palette. They're all consistent. They're all beautiful. They're all like a medium dark color. Really beautiful. The downside of the palette is, you know, it's with these pro palettes, it's not a complete palette. I like to bring in a little white, a little black, and then you kind of have to be creative in how you're going to use it, because it's not one of those idiot proof, you know, 4-pan things where there's just 1 or 2 looks that you can build with the palette. So if anyone wants me to do a tutorial using some of these colors, please comment and let me know, and I will do it. I might actually mix it with the cashmere palette, which I also have. That would be kind of fun, mixing a neutral with kind of some bright things. So anyway, give me some feedback if that makes some sense and you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and please subscribe on YouTube because it helps me a lot. Thanks. And this is limited, so if you want it, get it.